Seeing Broadway commercials and B-roll on TV isn't anything new. As long as the medium has been around, commercials promoting live theater has been there right along for the ride. Usually we associate these with show clips or B-roll that we see on Broadway World or Playbill or What's on Stage. But I have a really deep love for these commercials, specifically the ones that really go the extra mile to try to entice you to come see the story that they've created. What's up, y'all? My name is Caleb A. Barnett, and today we're going to take a look at some Broadway commercials that I think are worth sharing. Now, let's not dilly nor dally. Let's get on into it.
Every night at the Royale Theater, the 50s come to life. Grease.
Ah, yes, Grease, the show that no actor can avoid. Even if you haven't done the show proper, I guarantee you at some point you had to do the hand jive or do Grease Lightning or something for show choir. The point is, we know the show now, but back in the 70s and 80s, even though it was the longest running musical on Broadway at the time, the show still really wanted to show you the world that they had created in under a minute. You think I'm joking, I'm being serious. Every second of screen time is loaded with introducing who the T-Birds are, the Pink Ladies, Danny and Sandy's complicated relationship, Danny's the cool guy, Patty and Eugene suck. Hey yo, but they kind of hitting that step, hold up. They got the car, there's gonna be a whole lot of flipping. Teenager flying around all Tarzan style, look at him go! Now that's that energy. It's pretty effective, if you ask me, but since we're talking about Grease, I only thought it right to talk about a commercial that came out earlier that I think is a little more wild.
I saw a show with Peggy Sue is just out to have some fun.
In this commercial for Grease from 1978, it follows this couple that fell in love on their first date to see Grease and have gone back 7 times since then. It's a cute commercial, but old boy is way more into this show than his girl is. Look at him, bro. He's dapping up the people on stage during the show.
Hey man, sit down. I paid $250 for this ticket to watch people 48 play 17.
Anyway, like I said, pretty effective marketing for a show that markets itself these days.
Grease, live on stage at Broadway's Royale Theater, where you can reach out and touch it.
Lights up on Washington Heights.
This commercial for In the Heights was very creative in its approach to marketing the show. Rather than filming B-roll in their theater, they elected to film little snippets in the actual neighborhood of Washington Heights. And this seems like a pretty obvious thing to do, especially since we got the movie that was essentially entirely filmed in Washington Heights less than 5 years ago. But before the movie was even fathomed of, this was people in New York's first encounter with this material, especially for the people that lived in that neighborhood. Put yourself in those people's shoes specifically. It was a show from a native New Yorker, and he made a $10 million musical about your neighborhood that only spans like 30 blocks on this one island. And for the price of admission, you were, in theory, going to see your day-to-day life play out on stage. That's pretty effective marketing, bruh. So effective, in fact, that it ran for 1,181 performances over the course of 3 years, won 4 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, and received a major motion picture almost 13 years after opening.
Colombia, me encantó, me encantó.
You perform in Cabaret. I'm Rosie. I'm Lulu. And I'm anyone you want me to be.
You know, you don't really hear about Broadway shows doing collaborations with deodorant these days. Like, yeah, sure, maybe they'll do something with a makeup company like Death Becomes Her does with MAC, or they'll do like a collaboration with Schmackary's. Actually, a lot of shows do collaborations with Schmackary's. Y'all ever had Schmackary's before? Oh. Bro, Schmackary's go crazy. They go crazy. Bro, get that corn cookie. Get that s'mores cookie too, boy. Oh my goodness. You know, you'll have stuff like that, but not degree deodorant. Broadway, it's stanky. You know, I can make all the jokes in the world. Here's the thing. It kind of works. So this is the roundabout production of Cabaret with Alan Cumming as the MC from 1998. This Sam Mendes version of Cabaret was a lot raunchier and all around more raw than other productions that were conceived up to that point. You know, it's really a time capsule of the style at the time because it's shot in this real shaky, handheld style, and the women from the ensemble really talk up how hot and sweaty doing the show is.
Hot. This show is very sexy. Cabaret is a hot show.
Somebody turn on a fan. I think it might be hot up there.
A kind of out-of-the-box collaboration, but fun nonetheless.
Yes.
I'm always a sucker for an ad that does a whole takeover angle, and this commercial for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory does it exceptionally well. This is one of those commercials that show you less to kind of leave more to your imagination, which makes sense because it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They do a really good job of showing that just by Wonka being there, it changes the entire DNA of the city and turns it into a candy paradise with just the tap of his cane. It's raining gumballs. The Flatiron Building is a huge chocolate bar. I mean, they changed the outside of the entire Lunt Fantan Theater to be the chocolate factory for this. I mean, if this is what they're promising, I can only imagine what that chocolate room is going to look like. Can't have it all, I guess. But a really fun commercial that really lets your imagination fill in the blanks on what the show could possibly be.
Unwrap a world of pure imagination.
Say, I need you to be very close. I want to tell you about Nine, the spectacular musical at the 46th Street Theater. It's about the...
You can back up a little bit.
You can't say it don't grab your attention and refuses to let it go. The whole commercial is pretty much this. A super close-up shot of Kate DeZena, who plays the lady of the spa in this show, and she literally just explains the spark notes of what the show is about, and then it ends. And I get it, it's supposed to be artsy and avant-garde because the show's about this Italian artsy filmmaker. So I kind of get it, but that would have terrified me as a kid. Let's keep it pushing, man, because I ain't trying to see nothing else scary.
Nine is an amazing musical. It tells the truth.
Before I play this next one, I want you to just try and guess what show this is promoting.
There's never been a musical like her.
Yeah. Carrie the musical. Not the one from 2012 with Derek Clennon and Christy Altamere. No. The one from Broadway from 1988. The one that looks like this. A lot of y'all probably already know the lore about this show, but for the uninitiated, in 1988, Carrie the musical, based on the movie and book of the same name, made its way to Broadway at the Virginia Theater, currently the August Wilson. Early on in the production process, the creative team had differing views on the musical that they were creating. Director Terrence Hands viewed the show as a Greek tragedy, while composer Michael Gore and lyric writer Dean Pitchford viewed it as being set in this high school setting similar to Grease, to the point that Hands confused Grease for Grease. And you can tell from the costuming. The creative dissonance was definitely felt as the show was critically panned. Audiences booed, walked out, and ultimately the show closed on Sunday, May 15th, 1988 after 5 performances and 16 previews. All that to say, the fact that this commercial has this eerie, uneasy, scary feeling, it's surprising that that's what we got. I would also be upset if I saw that on TV and walked into the theater and saw this. Really makes you think about how scary the show actually could have been if everybody was on the same page.
There's never been a musical like her.
These little town blues are melting away.
After the attacks on the Twin Towers on September 11, 2001, tourism took a big hit in the country, especially in the cities that pretty much relied on it for their economy. Nobody was traveling anywhere, especially by air and especially to Manhattan. After theaters reopened 2 days later on September 13th, shows played to near empty houses for weeks. To help stimulate the tourism industry, the Broadway League, Spotco, and producers came up with an ad that showed that New York is stronger than its circumstance. Now, this was a Herculean task as members from all across the Broadway scene all gathered in Times Square before their matinees to sing and dance for free. Big shout out to Jerry Mitchell, who essentially choreographed the entire number and was said to be a really, really big source of levity for the people that were there. Hashtag full out, baby. Boop, boop, be-doop. This commercial is so cool to me because of the amount of iconic Broadway people that are just kind of like scattered amongst the masses. I mean, you got Bernadette, Nathan Lane, Bebe Neuwirth, Glenn Close, Brooke Shields, all dancing with the Beast and Phantom and Aida. Oh, You know, I first saw this commercial during the pandemic whenever we were still all on lockdown. It kind of just showed up on my feed. And I felt emotional watching it then. So I can only imagine how much of a hit to the heart it was, especially if you lived here in New York at that time. Just a fantastic feel-good commercial. No notes.
Come to New York and let's go on with the show.
And that's gonna do it for today, y'all. Tell me, do you have any Broadway commercials or commercials regarding theater that you really love? Leave a comment, leave a like, and if you haven't already hit that button, hey, hit that subscribe button. Go and see a show, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. See y'all.